Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. In this technical analysis of the stock market video, I call it the China syndrome. No, it's not the movie that came out 12 days before 3 Mile Island in 1979. We're talking about what's going on in China right now in the stock market and some of these Chinese stocks that are bubbling up. First, we're going to take a look at the DAX, though, because the DAX is on fire. And if you take a look at this weekly view of the DAX, it is up for 5 weeks in a row. And it's up above the Keltner channels. Yes, it's getting overbought, but it can stay there for a while. We'll see. I want to take a look at the Elliott wave picture. Now, if I zoom out a little bit, and you can see this is all the data I've got. It goes all the way back into the late 90s. But I've got the low here, March 2003. Remember, the United States market bottomed in the fall of 2002. The DAX bottomed in March 2003. We came up. I think we've got cycle wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in the 5th cycle wave up. What's interesting is this third cycle wave does not look like it extended. It looks percentage-wise approximately equal to 1. I've done the little comparisons. And then we get this, this flat that occurred here for wave 4. And then coming off the March of 2020 low, here we are working a cycle wave up. And it doesn't look like an ending diagonal pattern of any kind, at least not right now. It looks impulsive to me. So I think right now we are in the 3rd primary wave, and we're in the 3rd intermediate wave within that 3rd primary wave up. And I don't think we're done by any means. It's interesting, we got a little bit of divergence right in here before this corrective move. You see this right here, right here, okay? Then you got a fairly substantial correction that occurred. Well, I'm not seeing any divergence at this point on a weekly view. You don't have to have divergence for a wave structure to end, but it's nice when you get it. I look for it many, many times between the peak of wave 3 and the peak of wave 5. But even when you look at the wave structure in here, I don't see 5 waves done and that would just be right now the way I count intermediate wave 3. I'd count this as 1, 2, 3 that's not done. Then we'd have 4, and then we'd have 5, and that's going to finish off intermediate wave 3. So it's going to be interesting to see how strong does this continue to be. How does it play out over the next several weeks and months? But that is the picture we've got on the DAX. It looks like it's on fire and no sign of slowing down. We'll see. Okay, let's take a look back to China. All right, well, the Shanghai Composite, it erupted in September, right? All the stimulus that China opened the doors on. And, it looks like we had a classic double bottom. You always, on a double bottom, you always look at the midpoint in between the two lows, right? And you say, well, you project, well, it could go about that distance higher. Well, it did that right on the eruption, literally within 2 weeks. This is a weekly view. Well, now this beautiful bull flag has appeared in here. And here's the flagpole. And so when you look at this, you say, well, okay, when this erupts out of this flag, it'll project to go the distance of the flagpole from the previous consolidation type of area in here. So this could be a fairly substantial move coming out of this this flag pattern. So we're watching that, but that's also causing, the other stocks that trade, both here in the United States and in China start bubbling up. Let's take a look at Alibaba first. Okay, so Alibaba, here's a weekly view. You can see it's been up 4 weeks in a row. So this really gets interesting when you compress it. It looks a lot more like an ascending triangle. But I think the key is here is closing above this high, okay? Because then, you've got almost like the classic swing move. We close above that high, I think we're going to get a pretty good chance of continuation. Although even to get up there, you got to get up to closing above 117.82. All right, so that's Alibaba. Alibaba trades 22 million shares on average, 20-day average volume here in the United States. Okay, the next one I want to take a look at is Baidu. Now, what's interesting about Baidu, this is a daily chart. Look at these trend line breaks, and then what happens afterwards. Of course, this was the classic in September with the eruption on the Shanghai, or and the other indices. Okay, but you're getting the same kind of thing on a smaller basis occurring. And this came up. This almost looks like right here, like a little double bottom, right? And you've got this move between down here, depending on where you pick to measure from. Now, again, it hasn't closed above this level yet. It got right to it, and then I drew a trend line. I think if it closes above that level, it could really take off. Maybe it gets as far as trying to challenge 115. Okay, so that is the picture of what's going on here with Baidu. Could get very interesting. Let's take a look at Pinduoduo right here, PDD. Now, this doesn't have as dramatic a trend line type of activity as what I just showed you on Baidu, but still we've got a little bit of it occurring, and this can really move. I mean, look at the distances this is covered. We're talking about a lot. I mean, we're coming from like 100 up to 155 in a matter of days. Yeah, so yeah, this can erupt. Right now, I'm watching this pivot high in here, which is 116.69 is the high. 116.69, let's call it 117. Yeah, I think we close above that, and it could continue to push. And the last one we'll take a look at is JD.com. This has an average of 11 million shares traded a day. And this has got more similar to Baidu in terms of the downtrend lines that have been broken, and then substantial spike moves that occurred. You could see in September it went from 28 to 48 in about 2 weeks. And, we're getting similar type spikes in here. Now, granted, when this trend line here was broken, it got a spike up, but it hasn't had the continuation yet. But I'm still watching that because that's a pretty key pivot high right up in here at about 42.5. So that is the picture there on JD.com. So that's just a few at Baidu, Alibaba, PDD, and JD.com. So we'll see what kind of continuation we get out of the Shanghai Composite over the next several weeks and months. All right, that's it for this video. If you felt like it was helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, hit that little subscriber button. And if you'd like more of this information on a regular basis, head on over to joehenches.net. Everyone have a great week. We'll talk to you on the next video.